Today we've got a 2022 Porsche 718 Spyder against a 2024 718 Spyder RS. Here we're powered by a 4-liter naturally aspirated flat 6, making 414 horsepower, 317 pound-feet of torque. Mated to a 6-speed manual transmission, the car weighs a little bit under 3,200 pounds. Market value right now is about $120,000 to $130,000, although base price MSRP is around $99,000 if you were to buy it new, and then you add all the options and such, which add up, of course, very, very quickly. But of course, think of this as the Boxster version of the Cayman GT4. In terms of mods, we have a Soul over axle pipe and a Cobb tune. Other than that, bone stock. And with that out of the way, getting into the interior, we got these Porsche bucket seats, which of course is an option. Although if I were to get Porsche bucket seats, I would get them tilted back a little bit because otherwise you sit very upright. God, that thing sounds great. We have the top up, just for audio reasons. Damn, that thing is loud. Very purposeful Porsche interior, 3 gauges because we're in the 718, whereas the 911 gets 5. But I like analog gauges, tack right in the center. We're gonna put on sport exhaust. PASM's enabled. We're gonna keep auto blip disabled and turn off traction. There we go. Porsches are so natural, especially the modern ones. Everything is entirely one-to-one. The brakes are so firm, easy to modulate, confidence inspiring. Steering is sharp, front end immediate. We do have electric power steering after the 981, or I should say after the 987, beginning with the 981. Throttle, the throttle response is perfect, immediate and natural. Actually a little bit playful. Getting a bit of rotation with throttle, heel toe, no learning curve. It's exactly what you expect. All right, PASM's good, but a bit firm for this road. So we're gonna keep that disabled now in the softer setting. Long gearing, so we're going to be mostly just in second gear. This is more lively than I recall the last Spyder I drove being. Dude, so quick and willing to change direction, that mid-engine balance. You gotta love it. It keeps the car nimble. You don't have that rear engine feel of the 911, which is more playful and fun and adds a different dynamic, but this is more closer to the direction of being perfectly balanced. 45, 55 front to rear weight distribution, tight polar moment of inertia, which by the way is more important than the front to rear distribution. And even though we have McPherson strut suspension in all 4 corners, the way Porsche tunes these it actually drives better than many double wishbone cars. Like my Amira, as an example. Obviously, the Amira is not trying to compete with this. This is the more hardcore version of a Boxster, a 718 Boxster, right? This is the Spyder, the step up. Woohoo, there we go. Engine making a bit over 400 horsepower in a car that weighs less than 3,200 pounds. This thing is plenty quick, and it's not a super torquey engine. It rewards you to rev it out. It's not like it's gutless down low. It's no S2000. But that's what I want, a naturally aspirated engine that encourages me to push the car hard and have fun with it. Something that makes me need to downshift and even do a little double clutch into first. And even with the top off, you can feel it's a rigid chassis. No cowl shake. You don't feel unusual amounts of flex or having a lot of squeaks and rattles as you push the car. And with that top-down experience, you're getting something a little bit more, I think a little bit more in the direction of emotional versus a regular GT4 with a car like this. But now it's time to see how she compares to the 718 Spyder RS. Now it's time for the 2024 718 Spyder RS. MSRP for these is starting around $168,000. We have the same engine as the GT3. This is a 4-liter naturally aspirated flat 6, making 493 horsepower, 331 pound-feet of torque, and it's mated to a 7-speed PDK. You do not get the option for a manual with the Spyder RS. We're sub 3,200 pounds, and compared to the GT4 RS, we have retuned springs, softer by 55% in the front and 43% in the rears, sway bars and adaptive dampers, also retuned steering to feel less darty. We have a less aggressive front splitter because we don't have that big swan neck rear wing. So to keep the aerodynamic balance, we have less downforce in the front, although like all Spyders, we do have a ducktail spoiler, and this one is even larger than in the regular Spyder. There's no underbody guiding vanes, giving approximately 0 lift instead of adding downforce. And compared to the 718 Spyder, we have some weight savings. We have a carbon roof, carbon intakes, a manual roof, titanium exhaust tips. We got this little cover open so we can hear that induction. Oh. And let's start her up. I really like the interior. A lot of interiors from this generation of 718. The steering wheel I think is perfection, Alcantara wrapped. We have this carbon fiber trim. Nice, elevated slanting center tunnel here. It's just such a great place to be. Carbon bucket seats, again, a little bit too far upright. I wish it was tilted back. I've seen some owners do that, and I think it makes it way more comfortable. You also get a little bit more thigh support, because here my thighs are just floating above the bottom of the seat. I like that the shifter here looks like a manual transmission shifter, although this is, of course, PDK. And we're gonna enable PDK Sport, faster shifting. Keep those exhaust valves open. We're gonna turn traction and ESC off. We can start with PASM engaged, stiffens up the adaptive dampers, but I think this this road is probably going to be a little bit too bumpy for that. Let's try it out. Let's definitely turn the PASM off. Wow, already getting lively under acceleration. It is a lot of power. Incredibly loud. I thought it was going to be quieter than the GT4 RS because it's open, right? But the intakes are still right there. It is still deafeningly loud. Too loud for me, man. I'm gonna get tinnitus from this. But immediate, lightning quick shifts. The gold standard right here, guys, for automatic transmissions. Insane. And you can feel this is far less darty and far less rigid and stiffly sprung than the GT4 RS. That thing was incredibly competent, but a bit punishing on street, especially if your Canyon road wasn't perfectly glass. But I love how direct everything feels. All the inputs, the steering, so precise. Maybe a touch more feedback, but the E-Pass from this generation just isn't very feelsome. You don't get nearly as much data back from the road surface and from the car as you would like. At least not on street. We're not holding power slides, so I can't tell you how it lightens up and such when you get it sideways. But again, everything is so natural. Such downshifts. Oh, she's lively, boys. I've been one to complain about the Boxster and Cayman being a little bit too clinical and a little bit too boring. But when you up the visceralness of the car with the engine, right? That literally perfect transmission, how does it get better than that, right? Maybe if you're driving slow and you shift, you want something quicker, but I mean, it's still quick enough, and you actually don't care about the shift speed when you're not pushing it. And when you are pushing it, it is immediate, absolutely immediate and smooth. Perfect rev matches, instantaneous shifts. And the car is willing to dance. You have to push it quite a bit though, because the limits are higher, right? But with that mid-engine and that tight polar moment of inertia, it's so just willing to change direction, so tight, so planted, and when you do get a little bit of rotation, so easy to just dance with and just keep it right on that edge. One thing that is a trade-off with the engine though, again, this really encourages you to rev it out. It's faster than the regular Spyder. But when it comes to torque, this might feel a little bit down in some of the mid-range, and I feel like I need to rev this thing out a bit more than that regular Spyder to get going. Builds power in your red light, really encourages you. Not a torque monster down low by any means. And that's fine. I want that in a naturally aspirated engine. I don't want my sports car to just have instant gobs of torque. I prefer bringing it out and dancing with the car. Man. The GT4 RS, I'd say, is too stiff for a lot of road work. This, by dialing it back, by making it less aggressive, this is far more usable on the street. And compared to the regular Spyder, I mean, this definitely feels more special. The biggest reason is just that induction note, that deafening engine behind you. This is the star of the show. Kudos to the owner as well for getting a fun color. I love all the aqueducts and the aggressive venting in the front that separates it from the regular Spyder. Now, of course, the Spyder and the Spyder RS are more similar than different. You can feel the shared DNA, but by dialing things up from 8 to 10 to 11 in this car, it is a more visceral, engaging, raw, and more dynamic experience, right? So it is substantially more expensive though, but I'm curious to know, what do you guys think? Is it worth the added price premium? Let me know with a comment down below. Much love, my friends. If you want your car reviewed, visit us on jabalandcars.com. Fill out the form on the homepage. Big thanks to the owners, Luke and Yue, for letting me review their cars. Big thanks to Fenton's son from the Zyger YouTube channel for making this review possible. Much love, my friends, and I'll see you all in the next one.